Welcome to Box Recaps. Today I'm going to explain the movie Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, released in the year 2023. The movie starts and we're taken to a prison where a monster is brought in. There we see a man named Edgin and a woman named Holga as well. This monster starts teasing Holga as soon as he gets there, and Edgin tries to stop him. The monster, however, does not listen to him. The monster then starts touching the girl, and Holga has had enough of it. She goes on to attack the monster and beats the crap out of him in the blink of an eye. Edgin and Holga are later called in by the judge. They've been in prison for 2 years already, and they have again appealed to the judge to listen to their plea once again, hoping that they might get out of prison. The judge then goes on to ask both of them why should he order their release this soon, because he does not see them doing any good. He then asks the two if they have ever done anything nice, and Edgin starts telling his story to the judges, and the scene goes into flashback a few years ago. Prior to imprisonment, Bard Edgin Darvis served as a member of the Harpers, an order of peacekeepers. He fell in love with a girl and had a daughter with her. He named his daughter Kira. One day he arrested a man they called the Red Wizard, and after a while his whole life changed, because the students of that Red Wizard got angry at him and they went on to kill his wife as revenge. When these people break into their house, his wife hides their little daughter, which is how she stayed safe. He loses his wife, and his life is ruined. He is seen drinking at bars, and his daughter is now without a mother, so he has to take care of her as well. His days are now sad, and nights are lonely, until one day he meets a woman named Holga. They start spending a lot of time together. Holga seems to be a strong warrior and does not act like typical women. She also starts caring for Kira. Years go by and Kira keeps growing. Edgin and Holga find it hard to make money, so they start doing thefts. They, however, decide that they're never going to kill anyone during their thefts, and they also decide that they're only going to steal from the rich. Their team is then joined by a boy called Simon, and Simon has a partner named Forge. One day, when they're stealing from a rich family, Holga goes on to find a necklace that is magical. It is revealed that using that necklace, anyone can go invisible. Holga goes on to make Kira wear that necklace, hoping that it is going to keep the little girl safe. One day, a red witch named Sofina comes to see them. She tells them that she has a task for them. The task is to steal a very important device from a very dangerous place. So Edgin right away refuses to do this job. But Forge goes on to tell him the qualities of this device, and Edgin ends up agreeing to do the job. Kira has now become a teenager by now, and when Edgin is about to leave for this theft, he tells his daughter to stay home because he does not want the girl to get in any sort of trouble because of them. They end up going to the place where the device, the tablet, is kept, and Edgin is good. He ends up stealing the tablet with ease. Just as these people are about to leave, the guards of that place show up out of nowhere, despite the fact that Edgin and his team do not want to fight. They still end up getting into a fight with these guards. This is when we see Sofina. It is revealed that Sofina has not actually come for that device. She has actually come for a red horn. Sofina manages to grab the horn and gets out of there, while Edgin now starts realizing that he is not going to be able to get out of there, so he goes on to hand the device to Forge, telling him to get out of there right away. Edgin also tells Forge to take care of Kira. Forge assures him that he is going to do that, and leaves. Simon is also able to make it out of there, but Holga and Edgin are caught red-handed. This is the reason why they have been in prison for the last 2 years. The scene then shifts back to the present, where Edgin is telling the story to the judge. This story, however, does not impress the judge, and he goes on to refuse to set Holga and Edgin free. This is when a huge bird shows up at the court to bring back both Holga and Edgin. Holga and Edgin, however, have a plan of their own. They go on to attack, use the bird to their advantage, and end up jumping out of the window of a very high building. These two are well aware of the fact that if they use the bird, they will not fall off the building. They would rather land on the ground safely and easily. Edgin and Holga then make their way to the place where they used to live. They hope that they might find Forge and Kira there, but these two are nowhere to be found. Edgin then makes his way to a hotel to ask about Kira and Forge, where Edgin finds a poster that is about Forge. They make their way to Neverwinter and learn Forge has become Lord there, after its prior Lord fell mysteriously incapacitated. Edgin finds it really weird that Forge has become a Lord, but he does not care about that right now. The thing he cares about the most is finding his daughter Kira. They get to the place where Forge is, and Edgin finally meets his beloved daughter, and he takes a sigh of relief as he sees that she is perfectly fine. Edgin then meets Forge, and he's happy to see him as well. He then asks Forge how on earth has he been able to pull it off. Forge then tells him that Sofina is the one who actually helped him get all he has now. When Edgin and Holga hear the name Sofina, both of them get pissed, as they say that it is because of Sofina they were caught and had to stay in prison for the last 2 years. This is when Forge goes on to tell Kira that these two have not been released from prison, they have actually broken out of the prison. And he also tells Kira that Edgin tried to pull off that theft to get a lot of money, which is not entirely true. This is when the truth is revealed. It is told that the device which they wanted to steal was called the Tablet of Reawakening, and using this device, a dead person can be brought back to life. Edgin really misses his wife, so he wants to bring her back to life. Edgin gave that device to Forge the day he was caught, and in the present he goes on to ask Forge to give him back the device. At which point, Forge tells him that he does not know what he is talking about because he has no device. Edgin now tries to make his daughter believe that Forge is lying, but she does not believe him. Forge has been polluting her brain against her father for the last 2 years, so she trusts Forge more than she trusts her own father. Kira then starts crying and leaves the scene. This is when Edgin and Holga get angry and they get up to attack Forge, but Sofina gets there and goes on to freeze both of them using her magic, which is really strong. Edgin and Holga are then caught and put in prison at Forge's palace. Edgin and Holga have decided that they're not going to stay in any prison anymore, so they go on to fight their way out of that prison as well. Edgin and Holga now only have one purpose, and that is to destroy Forge in every way. They want to get all his treasure, the Tablet of Reawakening, and of course Kira from him. It is revealed that all the treasure that Forge has today was actually stolen by these two, but today he claims that he is the owner of everything. They now realize that they're going to need a team if they're to teach a lesson to Forge, so Edgin right away starts looking for Simon. They end up finding him at a public place where he is performing as a magician. They see that Simon is actually trying to fool people into stealing their treasure. He, however, ends up getting caught, and all the people in the audience start beating him up. Simon now thinks that these people are going to kill him, but this is when Edgin and Holga come to his rescue and help him escape. Edgin then goes on to tell Simon about Forge, and he tells him about his own plan as well. He also says that he's trying to make a team to pull off this mission. Simon tells Edgin about a girl named Doric. It is revealed that Doric has the ability to change her shape into any animal, or bird for that matter. On the way, they come across a girl who is about to be executed by the soldiers, but this is when a horse comes running towards them. This horse then transforms into a giant monster, and the monster starts killing the soldiers who are about to execute that girl. After that, this monster takes the girl and goes away. It is revealed that the monster they just saw is actually Doric. They go on to follow her, and Edgin finally gets to talk to her. He tells her that if she's willing to join their team, she will be paid well when the job is done. It is decided that Doric will go there in the shape of a bird and get to know about the location of the treasure. Shapeshifted into a fly, Doric infiltrates Forge's castle, finding the vault has magical defenses from Mordenkainen, which Simon cannot disable. Simon proposes that a magic relic, the Helm of Disjunction, could disable them. They decide to find that helmet. They travel to an old graveyard to ask Holga's ancestors where to find it. Simon resurrects the dead with a talisman long enough for them to answer 5 questions each, and they have to ask questions to everyone or they will not go back to sleep. The corpses reveal they gave the helm to Zenk Yandar, a paladin who fled his country. They leave the graveyard without noticing that one of the corpses is still sitting up because they have not asked any question to that one. They then go to see Zenk and get to know that Zenk is actually a great warrior. They also tell him why they need his helmet, And Zank goes on to make Edgin promise that they are not going to use this helmet for evil gains, and Edgin promises. He tells them that the helmet was safe with him, but he wanted it to be even safer, so he went on to hide the helmet in a place called the Underdark. They then go to a forest, where they come across a ditch. All of them jump in the ditch and get to a different kind of world, which is called the Underdark. They start walking and come across many weird creatures on the way, but they do not bother them and just keep walking. After a while, they get near the place where the helmet has been kept, but the bridge used to get to that place is now broken. So Simon uses his magic to make a teleportation portal. They manage to get to the helmet, but they have to get back as well, and it is not going to be easy to get back because Sofina has sent some of her people from her Red Army to finish all of them. They start fighting, and Zank fights side by side with Edgin and Holga. Their fight, however, causes a sleeping dragon to wake up, and they're now in deep trouble. The place now gets filled with water as well. The dragon, called Thembersod, is a red dragon, and it is very dangerous. It starts attacking them, but they somehow keep managing to dodge the attacks. Simon finally manages to teleport all of them out of there. They then say goodbye to Zank and decide to leave with the helmet. Edgin tells Simon to try wearing the helmet, but when he wears it, he finds it's hard to take control of it. He even ends up losing control on himself because the helmet is too heavy. Simon's father appears in front of him and asks him if he thinks he is worthy of wearing this helmet, and Simon says yes. This is when he ends up falling and goes unconscious. He wakes up again to wear the helmet and keeps falling again and again. This process now starts to annoy him. Forge has decided to hold the games, so the team now decides that they're going to use the staff to infiltrate the building during the games. The day arrives. Simon and Holga infiltrate the magically sealed door, but find the room empty, except for a magical trap. Sofina, disguised as Kira, subdues Edgin. The group is captured and forced to participate in the games, but manages to escape the stadium. Doric discovers Forge has loaded the treasure onto a boat and is preparing to flee. The group steals the boat for themselves and rescues Kira from Forge, who threatens Kira's life. As they escape, the group realizes Sofina organized the games to draw a massive crowd and turn them into an undead army using the curse that destroyed Thay. The group returns, transporting Forge's stolen riches out of the boat with the teleportation staff and spreading them across the city by hot air balloon, drawing the people out of the stadium before Sofina's spell takes effect. Enraged at her defeat, Sofina decides to teach them a lesson as she goes on to attack the group. But Simon manages to master his magic and nullify Sofina's time stop spell, allowing Kira to use an invisibility pendant Edgin and Holga gave her as a child to place an anti-magic bracelet on Sofina. Doric then goes on to take her eagle bear form and attacks Sofina. She goes on to crush her to death, but amidst all this, Holga is fatally wounded, so Edgin uses the tablet to bring her back to life, accepting that he wanted to bring back his wife only for his own sake, while Holga had become a true parent of their family. Doric signals openness to a relationship with Simon. Restored, the Old Lord of Neverwinter declares the team heroes of the realm. Zank sends Forge to Revel's End, where he spectacularly fails to escape, as Edgin and Holga did. And with that, the movie comes to an end. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on the notification and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.